Hello, my Aloha tribe, and welcome to the Aloha Perspective, where you get a little bit of something and a whole lot of everything. Happy Wednesday. It's hump day. Hump day, hump day, hump day. Anyways, I am here, and I am back. I don't know why I just said that. Deep breaths, right? I know I'm still trying to find my sea legs. Yesterday, I was so busy clock watching that I think I don't think I blew yesterday's, but I overly rambled. So I'm going to keep it simple today. Self-care, sacred self-care rituals deck. You get what you get in this. If it doesn't resonate, don't worry about it. Just move on to the next, right? So I did these last week, but I really, really enjoy these cards. And I think they can really touch on things that, most times when we think of self-care, we don't, think about, right? We just kind of say, oh yeah, So I think these will give people good ideas on what you can do, and maybe even step outside of your box if something's in here that, you've never seen before. So anyways, it's not going to be a very long show, just quick self-care. Just as an FYI, this is Suicide Prevention Month. So next week, I'm trying to put together a program for next week to cover a lot of these different things on, how we can help, how we can try to prevent it. If we are the ones in peril, what we can do to try to pull through. I will be speaking from a place of experience and perspective on certain aspects of the subject at hand. But I think it's good stuff to know, right? Especially if you're not really in tune to all the mental health stuff and, you don't know a lot about it, or you're never sure how to help. Sometimes you just got to call some, professional to get help. But that being said, just as a quick reminder, if you are in Canada or the United States, you can dial 988. So I looked up both numbers. I'm sorry I don't remember the UK number off the top of my head. I'm still trying to compile a list of actual numbers worldwide that I will put in the links next week when I do the show, but I'm still trying to put all of that together. So I just want you to know that's forthcoming, and I highly recommend people jumping in. Again, if you're not familiar with mental health, or you're not familiar with, how to even approach something like this, sometimes all they need is an ear, or just have someone show they care. That can be the easiest thing. So, card number 1, plan a vacation. Plan a vacation. Now, we live in a world where not everybody has the funds to just run off to some fabulous place, right? Plan a staycation. I remember one year I didn't have any plans, but I had to take my vacation. And so I was like, okay, well, and I did a staycation, and I went to all these different places that I'd never been to before in California. I mean, there's still a lot, but I know I've lived here my whole life, but whatever. But yeah, just, you can plan a staycation or you can plan a vacation, but that is, or, oh, good morning, older sibling. Good morning, Eileen. Or you can be like Eileen and just sprinkle in a little bit of Disney magic into these particular days. So plan something fun, okay, if it's not a vacation. Number 2 for self-care Wednesday, alone time. Alone time never hurts. Sometimes we get so busy trying to be a part of something that we forget that we need alone time, and I know, like, for people like me in the past, sometimes I was worried about alone time because I can tend to isolate, and I can isolate even with having a roommate, believe it or not. I am gifted that way. But I think what we need to remember is that, healthy alone time is good. You can meditate, maybe watch your favorite show. It's just about unwinding, right? Just closing out and shutting out the world, putting the shutters up on the rest of the world and just focusing on you for a little bit. Whether you're listening to your favorite music, maybe you're journaling, maybe you're writing, maybe you're coloring or doing some kind of craft work, artwork, or again, like I said, just vegging in front of the TV, maybe drinking your favorite stuff, eating your favorite foods, and just kind of vegging. All right. So alone time is a good thing. Number 3, chanting. All right, now I know this may not be for everybody, but on YouTube you can find meditations with chanting. Okay, we have this one is based more in the standard form of meditation, with the chanting and whatnot. But in the Hawaiian tradition, we have the Ho'oponopono, which is I love you, I'm sorry, please forgive me, thank you. And a lot of times if I'm struggling with something, I'll kind of mix up the order. I mean, I don't know that there's a specific order, because when I first started doing this, I noticed that people did it in all sorts of different orders. But when I got my certification in it, that was the order I was given. So that's the one I go with. And I feel like that's the proper way. But, to each their own. There is, however you choose to do it, as long as you do it, that's great. But it's just, I love you, I'm sorry, please forgive me, thank you. And what it's meant to do is, if you're having a situation that's causing problems in your life, or just causing a lot of upheaval in your life, if you meditate and use these words, you kind of, what they call cleaning. You're kind of cleaning the situation up. And in the old Hawaiian tradition, this is what was used when a family was having kind of a rift in their little family dynamic. And they would do this together. And it helps bring the emotions up. It helps kind of calm the energies down so that a proper talk can be had. So chanting, and you can find chanting anywhere on YouTube. If you want to listen to chanting, pull up Hawaiian chanting. I mean, it is, or even Native American chanting. It's mesmerizing. It's just mesmerizing, and it's so rhythmic and it's so beautiful, and you just kind of lose yourself in it. But you can look up any type of chanting on YouTube or on the internet. All right. So chanting. Dance. Who doesn't love to dance? I know that was not dancing, but I was just excited about the card. But yeah, when nobody's around, I dance like no one's watching, because literally nobody is. When people are around, I don't dance. I know. But you know what? Just move your body. Even if you think, well, I'm not a very good dancer, who cares? If you're by yourself, pretend you're Beyonce. Pretend you're whoever is out there that's an amazing dancer. Pretend you're, the famous tap dancer or a famous ballet dancer. Just don't hurt yourself, because ballet is pretty athletic. But, actually all dancing is athletic, but don't go on your toes unless you're a seasoned professional, okay? Because that could not end well. But just dance, just move your body, shake your body, just whatever it is, exercise. I'm not sure how many people are familiar with Richard Simmons. A lot of younger people might be familiar with him because he just passed away. But he had a huge thing going in like the 80s and early 90s. But it kept going. But I mean, he was hugely popular during this time when I was growing up. That everything was like dancing to the oldies, dancing to this, dancing, but it was all dancing. It was all dancing, and it didn't matter. Everybody was just there, having a good time, listening to good music, enjoying themselves. And that's what dancing is about. But it's about movement. It's about getting that energy going. It's about, just kind of working everything up, right? And feeling good about the energy you're creating. Oh, and while you're doing that, you can sing. So, funny story. I'm on my way home yesterday on the train, and I decided to listen to my favorite playlist, which is what I have, a monthly playlist. And basically it's the same playlist, but I tend to add songs or remove songs. I go through it at the beginning of the month and I take out what isn't resonating anymore. And sometimes the songs cycle through, sometimes they go away and come back later. But when I'm at home, I'll close my door and I'll just sing my head off, And so, I'll just sing my little head off. And I'm not the greatest singer in the world. I mean, I personally feel I can carry a tune, but I'm very shy about singing around people. But what was interesting is yesterday on the train, I texted older sibling and said, I'm having I think I even put it on social media that it's like, it takes so much for me to not burst out into song on this train. I wanted so badly when certain songs came on to just belt one out. And I was like, no, you can't do this. You're on the train. So it's like, nobody wants to hear what you're singing. But when I think about it now, going over it, it kind of, to me, is for, maybe that's my form of self-care, because I know when I'm not in a good place, I'll listen to music, but I won't sing. But when I am in a good place, I just, I can't help myself. And so, I mean, sometimes I'll even just be singing to myself, in public, but very quietly under my breath, or, the song playing on the, whatever the overhead song is playing. But I think it's a good sign to know what our triggers are, what all these different things that we're doing are. And by that, I mean, if you're not in a good place, and there's something you love to do and you find yourself not doing it, what can you do to get back to that? And for me, my tell is kind of singing. So, just sing. Who cares? Who sings? I remember in the car, I used to, I would sing, but the minute I stopped at a red light, I'd stop singing because I was afraid that somebody on either side would be able to see me through the window singing. I don't give a shit anymore. I don't. I just sing. Because you know what? What I'm doing in my car, if other people want to look, that's fine. And part of it is because I would see other people in other cars just singing away, dancing in their cars, and just, at the red light, and just having a good time. And I would see some people, sometimes you can see through their window and you see other people and they're just kind of rolling their eyes. But for me, it's like, good for them. They're really enjoying that song. They're really enjoying life. And that's what it's all about, right? So the next one, connect with animals. Connect with animals. We have a bird. Kind of looks like the partridge family bird, right? An owl, a buck, a husky, a kitty, and a squirrel. I know, I'm not sure that you should really be connecting with all of them, because don't piss off a buck. They have antlers that are sharp. Pretty sure they can do some damage. So anyways, but seriously. Oh, and I missed it. A butterfly right on her shoulder. But connect with animals. Get out into nature. Go out and do something. Your alone time doesn't have to be in your house. You can go out and do something. Eileen and I were talking about this a couple weeks ago, that, one of the things we enjoy doing, not that we don't enjoy doing it with other people and friends, but going to Disneyland by myself, it was therapeutic. You're not answering to anybody. You're just kind of, you're not rushing to keep up with other people. You're just doing your do, as baby sibling would say, just do the do. But you're just kind of doing your own thing. You're at your own pace. And it can be very relaxing, whether you decide to ride every ride on the planet or you just decide to sit there. I get it. Eileen doesn't live near Disneyland. I do. So sometimes I would just go there and people watch, maybe have lunch, maybe just walk around. Sometimes I would actually go there to exercise after work. I would just go, I'd walk around the entire park and I'd go home, because it's always nice to have a nice view. And that's a good walk. That's a good 5,000 steps just to do it. So, going in and out. But that's when I had a pass. But connect with animals. You can do it outside. You can do it, you can connect with your own little babies at home that you might have. When I was in Tucson a couple years ago, a baby sibling brought me up to this one place that she loves to drive up to, and one of the places, and it's like a bunch of caves, but the park was closed, so we couldn't go in. But on the way back, we saw a bunch of deer just hopping across the road, and it was just so beautiful. You just get so lost in that moment, right? First of all, I was like, they have deer in Arizona? I'm sorry, but it gets pretty damn hot there. All right. In southern Arizona. In fact, it's going to feel like Arizona today and tomorrow in Southern California. But I lost myself in just watching them, because we stopped. We let them cross. And part of it I was worried is that if, we kept driving, one might decide to go out and it would just not have been well. So we kind of stopped a little ways back. I'm waving them on, not sure if they know what I'm doing, but I'm just kind of waving them on. And I think eventually they realized we're not going to run them over. And then they hopped. And then and then the last one over, or the first one over, I should say, just kind of turned around and looked at us. And I don't know what they were thinking. I'd like to think they were saying thanks, but they could have been saying, you're a bunch of suckers and jackasses. So, thanks for stopping. Who knows? But it's a deer, right? How mean can a deer be? But yeah, so I like to think that there was a connecting moment in that little space of time that was just shared between, her and I and the deer. Just a quiet moment of like, wow, you know. So connect with animals. And if you have a pet, you know, I know there's Opal and I have Pixel and George, but if you have them, you know, just love them, you know, connect with them, just, you know, get on the floor, you know, and do stuff. So Eileen asked what these fun new cards are. These are actually not new. I've had these a while. They're the Sacred Self-Care Rituals. Okay. And okay, I'm gonna save the one making me giggle for last, because that one's every time. And you know, there's no shame to it, but it just makes me giggle every time, because it's like, what can I say to not get banned, you know? But anyways, it is a self-care thing, so you know, I'm sure you can see what's coming. But I'm gonna go with this one first. Sweet treats. Sweet treats. Actually, I should have saved this one before the sweet treats, because you know, you might need a sweet treat after that. But she looks very content. Like, yeah, she's thinking about everything. Apples, strawberries. I think that's supposed to be a peach, but it's yellow, so I'm not sure. Piece of candy, another strawberry, little blueberries. But look at those muffins. They look so good. Right? Or cupcakes, whatever they're supposed to be. Well, they're probably supposed to be cupcakes, but I can't tell. Yeah, they're probably supposed to be chocolate cupcakes. Yum. So anyways, have a sweet treat. Please don't shame yourself. One of the things I'm trying to really express during this show is that it is, you know, I try to advocate for body positivity along with mental health, you know, advocacy. And to me, they kind of go together, because you're trying to fix this beautiful organ inside of your head while dismissing everything else. And you can't. Your body is, as I mentioned yesterday, it's a well-oiled machine. And when you don't feed a certain part, it's going to get, you know, it's going to show signs of neglect. And by that I mean, it's like, you know, if you look at yourself in the mirror and you think, ugh, what's that doing to your brain? You're feeding it the wrong stuff. Look in the mirror, look yourself in the eyes and say, I love you. I am enough. I don't know who you are yet, but I love you anyway. You know, reaffirm yourself, reassure yourself. I've mentioned I'm on a health journey for my heart. I should say a heart journey. Okay, let's call it a heart journey. And I'm on a heart journey, and a healthy heart journey. And once I started being more positive about my body, I started saying nicer things to myself. And eventually it took hold, and it's kind of like, wow. So this is what it feels like to look in the mirror and not be sad, or not feel this and not feel that, and to not let other people's words affect me, because I know what I'm doing. But wherever you're at, you know, whatever size you are, thick or thin, if you love your body, don't be ashamed of it. Okay, don't worry about what other people say. Someone is always going to have something to say. Okay, but I will tell you this. If you are a plus size person and you hear someone saying something nasty or whatever, because this has happened to me, you know what? Put them on the back burner. In your head, tell them to shut their face, because their opinion is not anything but their opinion. What other people say about you is none of your business, right? But on the flip side, I will tell you this. I have heard plus size people making fun or saying derogatory things about skinny people as well, because I've also been on that end. But I have heard it, and I've said, you know what, is that really nice? And I've had people with me just kind of say these things, and I'm all like, you know, you're making fun of this person, but you do realize that, you know, we don't like to hear these things either when it's coming from the other end. So why are you saying this? You know, be kind. It doesn't take a lot to be kind. All right. So don't worry about it. Indulge. Okay. I'm not trying to promote bad or unhealthy, coping things, because I'm not talking about coping. I'm talking about treating yourself. And that doesn't mean go out, well, I'm going to exercise, I'm going to run 5 miles today so I can have that cupcake. No. Just if, you know, you're sitting down and you have a sweet tooth and it's not involved with emotional eating, it's just a random craving, and just indulge. Okay. Just allow yourself that cupcake, allow yourself those cookies, whatever. Okay. Just say, you know what? Don't say, well, I've done all this work, I deserve it. I've done this, that, or the other, I deserve it. No. Don't award yourself with food. Just say, hey, you know what? I have a craving, And you know what? I'm going to feed it because that's self-care. And trust me, if you're anything like me and a recovering emotional eater, when you ignore it, it gets worse. It gets worse because then you binge, and that is not what you want to do. So, the last card. Pleasure. I know, see, look, I can't even say it normal, right? It's like pleasure. No, I can't even say it's the pleasure card. No, I had to be a jackass and go with pleasure because I'm just like, oh my God, how am I going to talk about this, right? And yet, once I get going, not a problem. But this is not a bad thing, okay? I'm grateful they don't really show anything here because if they did, I would have to cover everything because of YouTube. Believe it or not, I have seen tarot readings on YouTube where, you know, the old, I think it's the Rider-Waite decks where, you know, it's very traditional art, but they have to cover certain things because, you know, because none of these people who watch this stuff don't see it anywhere else, right? I mean, there are R-rated movies coming out of our eyeballs. However, all right, I know, I'm going in 10 different directions because it's like, how the hell do I talk about this? And I'm running out of time. So, pleasure. Pleasure is probably the most personal and I don't know, and I want to just say personal, but it's probably the most intimate, obviously, form of self-care that you can do. You know, I mean, all the self-care we do is intimate, whether it's the sweet treats, whether it's singing to ourselves, whether it's dancing or hanging out with animals, because you're in an intimate environment, right? It's just, you know, but this is the ultimate form of self-care. When, you know, anybody who has ever had an orgasm in their life, you are going to notice that afterwards, you know, you might want that sweet treat. See, now you know, right, where that comes from. Or, you know, I know in the old days, and maybe even now, some people want to grab that cigarette, which I still don't get. I think that was just to, I don't know, signify something in the old days when they had sensors. And, well, they have sensors now, but when they had the super sensors and you couldn't show anything, but then you show them smoking later and after it's like, oh yeah, we know what they did. But, like a 5-year-old right now, it's like, but pleasure can be one of the most selfless self-care acts that you can do for yourself, and you're doing it yourself. So, did that come out right? But yeah, you're doing it yourself. You're you know, giving yourself that you're giving yourself that pleasure that maybe you're, you know, missing in your life. And it's not for everybody. I admit. Sibling said ride a horse. Seriously? Okay, so sometimes I think this is like, can I make Shelly laugh during her show with older sibling? And it's like, too late, I'm already there. But okay, look, in my perspective, if you weren't meant to have pleasure, to, you know, to pleasure yourself, there would not be toys in this world. Now, granted, couples use toys, okay? I mean, let's be honest here. Removing the 5-year-old from the situation in my brain, couples use toys, all right? They keep it interesting. But people use toys. Men use them, women use them, okay? I am no stranger to these things. I've been single for a long time, and about a decade or so ago, I was introduced to this wonderful world of things, of how to care for yourself. And at first, when I first would get this card, it was kind of like, I mean, I can't tell you how many times I have tripped over this card and whatnot. And I know that I'm getting very, very personal and probably putting a little too much TMI out there, but this is my perspective. And I want people to know that, you know, once you remove the shame from all of it, which there should be none, okay? If God didn't want you to have an orgasm, he wouldn't have made it a functional part of your body. All right? If he didn't want you to do things for yourself, he wouldn't have made our arms long enough to do it. Or invent somebody to invent these things to help people. And, you know, personal things like this have existed for centuries. But somewhere over the course of time, we've stigmatized it. It's not a bad thing. All right. I mean, I'm trying to hold back a little bit here, but I feel like if I'm going to give my perspective on something, I just kind of need to be an open book about it. But I will be an open book about this. It is not something I'm a stranger to anymore. And I'm not sorry that, and I'm not ashamed to talk about it, because I think it should be more of a conversation. I think it should be something that we share with other people, so we don't feel like we're stigmatizing other people. So we don't feel like, people are just ashamed of their bodies. This can be a big part of body positivity, because you're respecting every part of your body. You're respecting every inch of it, so just think about that one for a while. All right. So I hope, sorry, my sight, I'm sorry, my sinuses are draining. And they're going down the back of my throat like a bitch. Sorry. So anyways. All right, good. I can breathe again. So anyways, I hope everybody has a wonderful, wonderful day. I'm going to finish it off with this card because I got to get going to my doctor's appointment, or to the doctor's appointment. But in the game of life, it's more fun when we're all on the same team and I'm in control of the team roster. Activate today's intention, acceptance. And you have a tiger and a deer. Yeah. I think we should be looking up the spiritual meaning of a buck, because that's the second time we've seen one. Sorry. But anyways, normally you would see the tiger eating that little guy, but they're working as a team. So again, I am so sorry. In the game of life, it's more fun when we're all on the same team and I'm in control of the team roster. Activate today's intention, acceptance. And when it says I'm in control of the team's roster, I think they're talking about you. Just you. You are your own team. Every part of this machine, this human, beautiful human machine, is you're in charge of. So you could either throw it to the wind or you can do something with it. All right. And I suggest doing something positive with it. So anyways, thank you so much for watching, everybody. I'll be back here tomorrow. It may or may not be at 8:30 because tomorrow's appointment's a little bit later, so I'll have time. So I'll probably be back here tomorrow at 8:30 a.m. Pacific time, Facebook Live. All lives are public. Anybody can watch. Actually, I'm not sure this one was public. Sorry. You can watch it later on my YouTube channel or under Shelly Marie Lucas. Here, eventually, when I have enough followers on my Facebook page, the Aloha Perspective, I'll be able to go live from there. But until then, feel free to watch it here. I also have a TikTok channel, the Aloha Perspective, and I do share these to Twitter. All right. So again, thank you for everybody who joined me this morning on the live. I hope you all have a wonderful day. And again, thank you so much for watching, and go out there and blast this hump day out of the water. I'm sorry. I just thought of that last card and then saying hump day. Never mind. There goes my brain. Never mind. I'm going to stop now. Okay. I'm going to stop now before I lose people on this. Have a great day.